Well, thank you for joining me today for Talk Pittsburgh. It is Friday. It's the 5th week of Lent. And coming up this hour, meet the man behind some of the NFL's most legendary images. Just weeks before the draft takes over Pittsburgh, hear why he says the real stories happen off the field. And next, Pittsburgh tops another national list while we're bragging on our city in today's Table Talk. That and so much more coming up this hour. First, your local headlines in under 90 seconds.
It all begins with the closure here of Art Rooney Avenue. They need all this space alongside the stadium to build this incredible stage. It is massive. That stage is so big, they're also going to have to take out Gold Lot 1. That is actually tomorrow. But also included in closure, General Robinson Street from here at the stadium to here at Tony Dorsett Drive.
A street in Pittsburgh's Oakland neighborhood is notorious for having a lot of pedestrians and a lot of cars whizzing by.
And it has caught the attention of Pitt students who say they want something done to make it safer.
They're collecting information on bikers, walkers, and drivers. This is going to be at the corner of Bates and Semple, and it's going to be for 15 hours. They say they realize that there are not many places for pedestrians or bikers to cross. They say there are also very few places here where cars can move through smoothly.
The NCAA says 14-year-old Otto Shellhammer of Plumboro is the only person left in the country with a perfect bracket for women's March Madness.
I know nothing about basketball. I didn't have any professional help on this. This is all guessing.
And the odds for a perfect bracket, 1 in 41.2 million.
Wow, how did he do it? I have no idea. That's amazing. Well, with all eyes already on Pittsburgh ahead of the NFL draft, there's even more national attention coming our way. And this time, it's not about football. Well, Ron's joining me to talk about this. So, Ron, come on over. And I want you to guess what it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Why are we getting all of this attention? What do you think?
The Pit. I don't know.
That's a good guess. All right, I'm going to tell you. Okay. All right, so it's pretty cool. Pittsburgh is getting national recognition again. Our city landed among the best places to live in the U.S., specifically for people who love art and culture and design. That's according to a new list from Architectural Digest. And what stood out here, Ron, is that it's not just affordability or livability. Even though those matter, this list, it really highlights creative energy, things like museums and architecture and cultural institutions. In Pittsburgh, we check all of those boxes, and the article points to our world-class museums like the Andy Warhol and the Carnegie, plus a growing art scene that's turned the city into what they call a vibrant cultural city. It sounds fancy, right?
It does.
So yes, we've always known Pittsburgh is livable, but now it's being recognized as a place where creativity and quality of life, they come together.
I cannot agree more. So I think that especially, I think that's one of the things people are surprised with the most when they come here to the city. They don't realize and they're thinking, oh, it's just Pittsburgh. It's about Steelers and, the Pirates and the Penguins. No, we have this really vibrant cultural district that's around here. And that's why, shows like The Talk, and Pittsburgh Today Live works so well because there's so many things that are going on locally.
And people love their city. People love this city, especially when you grew up here and you lived here. But even if you've only been here for a couple of years, it just takes you all in. Do you think that Pittsburgh, what is the best asset that we have, in your opinion?
Oh, my goodness. I would say the legacy of all these museums that are coming in, all the teams that are here as well. I think the legacy here, this is, it's as strong as the steel. It's the Steel City. That legacy is as strong as that steel that we're known for. So, and I think that we're as strong as the Three Rivers that also runs through here as well.
Oh, look at you.
It's vibrant. Right, vibrant and just full of life as well. So, yeah, I think that the city, the symbols that the city is already known for, I think that's what really holds up. I could go another one and be like, we're bridging to the future.
Oh,
or
there we
something
go.
like that. No, but
you should write a book. You should.
No, it's really amazing.
Coffee table book.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with you totally, and I think that of course all of the things that people always say about our city is how affordable it is relative to other cities and how walkable it is. I know we sound like a broken record, but it's so true, and we have so many wonderful little neighborhoods where you can just walk to the grocery store, that type of thing. And then with all of the stuff that we're, like all of the attractions and the event spaces that we have and that we're adding on to our city because of the draft, wow. This is really, truly going to be a destination.
It really is. It's hard to believe and imagine that in 4 weeks we're going to have 500, 600,000 extra people just walking down the streets each and every day. But that's a reality. It's here.
And many of those people may just fall in love with our city and may decide to move here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Great showcase for the nation to get to see Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, well, still to come on Talk Pittsburgh, the spring season is in full swing. It's a time to refresh and rethink. So we asked you, what's the one thing in your house you always put off cleaning until spring, Ron? Ron's joining me to help share your answers coming up. Hi, Ron. I know you are a founder of the KDKA Movie Club.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any new movies this weekend? Because I'm not in this club, apparently. I don't know. I didn't get the invite.
You know we saw it earlier. We saw Project Hail Mary earlier this week. You're always invited. Your husband comes all the time.
He does.
He's one of the first. It's like, I'm in.
But he never tells me to come. He never invites
Hey, that's
me.
on you too.
Oh, man.
You got the open invite. Fantastic movie, by the way. If you can get out and see it on the big screen, that is the way to go. It is completely gorgeous. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Mr. Gosling seeing a couple of awards because of that movie. He did a fantastic job as well. All right, let's talk about the forecast. And Mikey, I love this because you couldn't figure out what I'm showing.
I have no idea what this
coming
is.
up
Looks
right
like
here.
a giant ruler or
this
measuring something.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're on the right. So it's a rain gauge. This was sent in from a viewer. And do you see what it's showing? How much rain it's showing there? Do you see that?
I can't really tell.
Okay. Do you need your glasses?
2 inches?
You need my glasses?
I need my readers. Is that 2 inches?
Yeah, right at 2 inches is what they were showing. That's down in the Fayette County area. And that's pretty much in line with some of the bigger totals that we saw, including southern Allegheny County, the Whitaker area, seeing 2.7 inches when it came to rain. Now, here's the good news. The rain's out of here the rest of the weekend. We're going to be looking at temperatures just in the 40s the rest of the day today, but we do start to warm up Saturday, 44. Very cold to start the day. And 56 for your Sunday high later on today. I know some people are traveling for spring break as well, Mikey. So we do have some good news there. If you are traveling south, Florida, Texas, usual suspects. The weather's going to be cooperating. Very warm temperatures. You got to get past Tennessee. If you're thinking maybe Tennessee, the Nashville area, you're still going to be on the cool side when it comes to the weather over the next 48 hours.
Oh, I would love to be traveling for spring break right now, but it's not in the cards, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still have a couple of years to go, right?
That's right.
Until it's spring break time for all of you guys.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
All right. Well, we're wrapping up spring cleaning week today on Talk Pittsburgh with your responses to our question of the week. So, Ron, come on over. I want you to help me with this. Slide on in. And so we asked, what's the one thing in your house you always put off cleaning until spring? That's a good question. And you guys answered. There's a lot of things that people are putting off here.
Yeah, they definitely are. Yeah. So do you have one?
I have one here.
All right. Okay.
You go what am I putting off?
Yeah,
you want to know what I'm putting off?
Yes, I want to know what you're putting off.
It's cleaning out like the cupboards in the kitchen. Is that where you put cabinets?
The gin maybe above the refrigerator?
Oh, boy. That's another story.
All right. All right, let's talk about AH on Facebook. Said the windows, the curtains, the steaming of the rugs.
Oh.
That's the thing that they put off. That's AH from Facebook.
Oh, you know what? I don't have curtains. I just have blinds. So.
Okay.
Okay. James on Facebook, carpets. our Forrest Stanley steamer. So he said he's not even tackling it. He wants the professionals to come in and help. So I get that.
All right, so RC, if it was RS, I'd be like, this might very well be me, because this is my project over the weekend, the garage. In fact, I'm going to have
How
to have
bad
some
is
people,
your garage?
You know,
what is in there? What are
the
you
worst
hiding?
thing right now is I was looking and there's spider webs all over the place. And I'm like, where did these spider webs come from? So yeah, I need to just kind of get the broom and not just on the ground, just like go all over the place and clean it all out. They love it in the wintertime. Yeah, but that's the big thing that got to get cleaned over the weekend.
Spider-Man.
I know.
Okay, so Nancy on Facebook says, it seems that I'm cleaning every day, so why spring clean? She said she's over it.
Okay.
So she said she's already putting in the work. She doesn't have to do a full clean.
Yeah. All right, Dan, later, he's on Facebook as well. He says, my entire apartment.
Dan, what's going on at your apartment there?
Yeah, he says he's gotten, and you know, that's the thing. It's sometimes you just need 20 minutes a day to just slowly catch up.
Yeah.
And you hope that 20 minutes a day is a positive on cleaning, and that you don't need like 25 or 30 minutes.
Well, you know what? To Dan's defense, things can get out of hand really quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah.
All right. So Beverly on Facebook says windows inside and out. You forget that you have to get the outside too. Like
you're supposed to do that?
Yeah, Ron, you got, because then you'll clean the inside and then you'll have smudges and then sometimes you have to like take the window apart and get in the middle.
Oh yeah, those are those fancy windows there. All right, we have Dr. Katie Stewart also on Instagram. She says she's the same as the apartment. Everything.
Well, we love her. We love Katie, and she's so busy. So I totally get it. Yeah, I just imagine that her home is spotless.
Right. Do you have a basement?
I don't like basements, but I do. And it's not too bad.
Okay.
What happened was, let me tell you what happened.
What happened?
What had happened was our basement flooded a couple of years ago, so it forced us
That's
to
not funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't. It was expensive too. That part definitely wasn't funny. But and so we had to clear out everything. So now, and we had to repaint. It looks pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. All right.
So Paisley today on Instagram.
That was the basement.
That was the basement. Thanks, Paisley. Sorry. I missed that. I see what you
catch
put down
what I'm throwing.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron. That was fun. Okay, still to come on Talk Pittsburgh. From his home darkroom to the walls of the Cultural District, NFL photographer Michael Zagaris shows us that moments that change football forever. That's ahead. Welcome back to Talk Pittsburgh. Ahead this half hour, as Pittsburgh gears up for the NFL draft, we're talking with a photographer who spent 6 decades capturing football's most iconic moments, where you can see his photos here in the city. And the sun will soon shine on some of the brightest flowers in Washington County. We'll tell you how you can get a tour, but first, let's get into the good news that has us talking. The 2025 USL Championship title-winning Riverhounds are taking their home pitch Saturday for the first time this season. They opened the regular season on the road back in March, on March 7th. The match starts at 7 in the evening against Sporting Jacksonville. Now, if you can't make it to the game, you can watch it live on KDKA+. And speaking of signs that spring is officially here, the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. are now in peak bloom, arriving 3 days earlier than expected. The National Park Service says warmer weather helps speed things along. So if you've been thinking about visiting, like me, this weekend might be the perfect time to make the trip. And keep your eyes peeled across Pittsburgh because red buds are starting to bloom too. And you've probably noticed daffodils popping up in your neighborhood, but one farm in Washington County is bursting with blooms and plenty of sunshine. Let's just say spring has never looked better.
To the side of a hill in Washington County is a garden where only one kind of flower grows.
This collection of daffodils is home to over 12,000 blooms, which represent about 1,200 different kinds of daffodils.
Joe Ham is the gardener behind this collection.
I didn't even realize daffodils were fragrant until today, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Here's another 7. It'll be fragrant too. I had a paternal grandfather that lived with us, and he was a gardener, and that's how I, got involved with it. Daffodils, I mean, I grew them, but I didn't really, to me they were all yellow.
Yeah. Joe may not have been born with a love of daffodils, but life seemed to orient him toward the cheerful spring bloom.
Because I grew hostas and daylilies and iris, and they all seem to be salad for the deer.
Joe turned his attention to daffodils, which are toxic to deer. He started by only buying daffodils that were registered the year of his birth, 1938, but soon his interest grew to all historic daffodils.
This is one of Joe's oldest specimens. It's Telemonas, and they've been growing this kind of daffodil since at least 1620. It's over 400 years old.
That's isn't it?
Joe's sister Jeannie helps out with the record keeping, of which there's a lot.
Did you think Joe was nuts when he started collecting all these daffodils? Like, what did you think about your brother? You're like, okay, I think you've gone off the deep end.
He always was one to really like things that were more eccentric.
Yeah. When you're out there gardening, like, time just passes differently.
You're meditating at the same time you're digging. It's very relaxing.
And you were doing a lot of the work yourself for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those were the days when I had legs.
Yeah. In 2010, a medical emergency led to sepsis in both of Joe's legs, and they had to be amputated.
I'm very fortunate that I have good family and friends. So.
His friends from Indiana and from Ohio came that summer to show me how to dig.
Yeah.
But they also then started teaching me about daffodils, and they were my mentors.
And so have you come to love daffodils?
I really can appreciate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always tempted to take a few home, and then I think, no, I have them out here.
Joe even has a daffodil named after him. This is Joe Ham Daffodil Man. It was developed in New Zealand in 2019. Is this an all-terrain wheelchair? Can you just go through anything?
Almost.
It's gonna take a lot to keep you away from those daffodils.
Oh, yeah.
For just under 2 months a year, the daffodils open up and visitors come from across the region to see the variety of blooms. And this is a crucial moment for Joe and Jeannie.
You only have one time during the year to verify that what's planted is what it's supposed to be.
You essentially cut one off and you bring it into Joe, and he looks at it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, this one's really striking.
Yeah.
It just looks like there's a whole other flower inside of it.
That's called phantom.
And clearly you like keeping your hands dirty because you created this sort of laboratory indoors.
That's my garden's all confined to the deck. Then I have my cactuses and begonias and geraniums. Naturally grow grass for the cats.
Oh.
And I do get out there, but it kills me not to be able to get my hands in that dirt.
You can come out here and we'll find ourselves saying, oh, look at that one, or look at that one. And they'll just, sometimes it captures your eye. And the more you know about them, the more you know what you're looking at.
Yeah, you can appreciate it more.
You can appreciate it more.
And after over 3 decades of growing daffodils, Joe Ham is still finding more reasons to appreciate this one flower.
Wow, garden guru Doug Oster actually told us about this place a few years back. So thank you to Doug and thank you to Boaz for showing us this magnificent farm. It's simply beautiful. Now you can visit Joe Ham's daffodil collection in Washington County yourself from the last week of March to the first week in May. We're going to link you up on our website. Well, still to come on Talk Pittsburgh, we're checking in with our KDKA news team for your first look at the evening news. Plus, he's photographed 44 Super Bowls and some of football's biggest names. Now, Michael Zagaris is opening a powerful new exhibit in Pittsburgh, and we're sitting down with him next.
Actress Ming-Na Wen grew up in Allegheny County, graduating from Mount Lebanon High School and CMU's School of Drama. She got her break in TV in the late 1980s on the former CBS soap opera As the World Turns, becoming the first Asian actor to have a contract role on daytime TV. Her break on the big screen came a few years later in The Joy Luck Club. She also had other notable roles over the years on ER, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Mandalorian, and Mulan.
More NFL draft news just dropped. Nelly, 2 Chainz, and Steve Aoki are headlining each day of the draft and performing again at Shorty's during the week. All right, that's going to be a wild party.
Yeah,
but
I got to dust off my Air Force One.
You do. But the draft wasn't always a huge party like it is today.
Yeah, it really took off in 1980 when ESPN broadcast the draft on TV. That was the very first time ever. And from there it grew, moving from hotel conference rooms to New York's Radio City Music Hall. And now, as we know it, it's taken over entire cities.
Yeah, those historic moments and the draft picks who became superstars have created legendary images over the years.
Yep, and many of those photos, the ones that defined eras and careers, are on display starting today right here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, joining us now to talk about it are the photojournalist himself, Michael Zagaris, and Anastasia James, the director of galleries and public art for the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. Thank you both for being here. What an honor.
Yes.
Michael, you have witnessed and photographed so many iconic moments, but let's start with the Steelers because you are in Pittsburgh, of course. So what can Steelers fans expect to see at this exhibit?
You know, they're going to see a lot of classic Pittsburgh Steelers at really the beginning of their dynasty.
Yeah.
Jack Ham, Lambert, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw. I was shooting the Oakland Raiders and the 49ers when I started out, and the Steelers and the Raiders had this incredible rivalry. I mean, it was about as heavy as you get. And I always loved the Steelers, the way they played. Those two teams were like the same team. And Lynn Swann, the Steelers star, he went to high school. They were my rivals. I went to Bellarmine Prep. He went to Sarah.
Did you play football?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football, baseball. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you're a sports guy. How has that helped? And I mean, just going through some of the pictures, the iconic pictures that you have taken, and for those that are out there, if you don't know Michael's work, I say just do a quick Google search, and they're going to come up hundreds of pictures. Did your sports background, is that something that helped you?
Immensely. And one of the reasons I got back into shooting football is when I quit playing, I was doing rock and roll, which I loved, but I missed the locker room because it's like you never leave high school. And when I went back to shoot football, I wanted to shoot it as a photojournalist, pretty much the same way I shot rock and roll from the inside out. I wanted to give people the same feeling and view that the players had. And I was lucky, Bill Walsh had been named head coach. I had a talk with him, and I convinced him, I said, look, I want to cover this the same way the presidential photographer covers the presidency. I want to be in the locker room, on the bus, in the planes, on the bench as a player.
I'm so glad you brought that up because when I look at your work, I feel that exact way. Like I feel like I am there in that moment.
Sure.
Yeah, and the ability for you to do that it's amazing.
All right, so Anastasia, I wanted to also talk because some of Michael's work is here for the draft and it's free. So tell us a little bit about the exhibit and what can people expect? How can they go?
Absolutely. Many of your viewers are probably familiar with the Cultural Trust's theaters.
Yes.
But many may not know that we also have a group of public, free art galleries within the Pittsburgh Cultural District. One of those galleries, located at 707 Penn Avenue, opens tonight with an exhibition of Michael's photographs of the NFL featuring 60 years of photography from his career. Rarely seen photographs. People are going to be so excited to see these images. And we've also published a catalog on the occasion of the exhibition, which will be available there tonight.
Yeah. And I was flipping through that catalog and just thinking about this exhibit, Michael. It has to be something else to see all of this work come together in one place and realize that you've been there. You've covered so much over the course of your career. It's amazing.
When you're doing it, you're in the middle of it, you really don't have much time to reflect. So, I mean, when they showed me the book the first time, I was like,
oh, wow.
I did this?
This is unbelievable. I know.
Yeah, right?
Let me ask you, it's not just been sports figures that you have had the privilege of taking photos of, also some legends in rock and roll as well. What's some of do you have any stories that you could give us? I don't know if you can or
we
not.
Want the tea.
But what's
That's what Ron is trying to say.
The ones you want to hear when we go off the air.
But tell us a couple of the stories from there.
I started out basically shooting the San Francisco bands, and that was 68, 69, psychedelia. And much like sports, the reason I did any of this, I wanted to be that. And I couldn't play an instrument well enough to be in a band. And so the next best thing, if you have a camera, you're with the band.
So when we're talking bands like Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, The Who, did parts of 3 tours with The Who, The Clash, Led Zeppelin, and it was a lifestyle.
Yeah, The Clash is our producer's favorite band.
Yeah, well, you know what? If I had one band I could go back and tour with again, it would be them.
Okay.
And Joe Strummer, really smart guy, his dad was a diplomat, British diplomat in Turkey, and he was well-read, well-versed. They were who they embodied. That was all real. None of that was showbiz. That was the Clash. And their audience at the time, it was incredibly exciting.
So what you see is what you got. All right. Who is this sitting on our table here? It's kind of like the elephant or the
This is Ben Millar. Ben
Millar
Millar was Godzilla's son, and there was a shop in the Haight-Ashbury that had a lot of Japanese things. He had his own little passport. Yeah. And Kristen, my life partner of 55 years, she found him, so she's got to get the credit for this.
Yeah.
He started coming to the 49er games with me, and he became kind of like the talesman, our mascot.
Yeah.
He would go on every road trip. He'd sit next to me on the plane. The attendants would have to bring him food. He'd be in the locker room before the game. He'd be on the bench.
He appears in quite a few photographs.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight
and now
Hicks.
he's here.
Yeah.
He's here. Wow.
Dwight Hicks put him in his belt, and he played it when we played the Eagles in Philly. He had a whole series in defense.
Didn't get called for a 12th man.
No. Well, thank you both for being here. This is phenomenal work that you're bringing here to Pittsburgh, and I'm sure people will enjoy it. And we're so privileged and honored to have you here.
I'm privileged to be in Pittsburgh, and this is all Anastasia and Dagan that made this happen.
The exhibition is on view through October, so you have plenty of time to see it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All
Thank you both.
Yep.
All right, Michael Zagara, 60 years of NFL photography presented by the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust opens today and runs through November at 707 Gallery on Penn Avenue. We're going to have a link to more information at kdka.com/talkpittsburgh.
Yeah, and still to come on the show, KDKA anchor Christine Sorensen. She's standing by with the stories you won't want to miss tonight on the KDKA Evening News.
All right, let's take a moment to find out what you can expect to see on KDKA TV News tonight at 4, 5, and 6. Christine Sorensen is in our newsroom with some of the stories our news team is working on. Hey, Christine.
Hey, Mikey. Yeah, we've got a lot of different stories. First of all, several communities are feeling the effects of last night's big thunderstorms. I don't know if you woke up and heard all that thunder. We've got flooding in many areas as well, and we're going to take you to those communities for the cleanup and to see the damage. Plus, we will have you seeing double times 16. We're taking you to Upper St. Clair High School, where they have, get this, 16 sets of twins. We're going to share their stories. That's in our Feel Good series called On a Positive Note. And you order something from Amazon and it's delivered the very same day. Well, that's now available here in Pittsburgh because Amazon is opening a same-day delivery site in Imperial. So we're going to have that story and a whole lot more coming up.
Oh, that is dangerous, Christy. I mean, but I really do think that is great news for people who love to shop on Amazon.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, certainly for getting things quickly. And we're going to get a behind-the-scenes tour of the facility and explain how it's going to work the next time you put something in your cart.
All right, good news and more money for me. Yeah, more things for me to buy.
Me too.
All right, thanks, Christine. All right, still to come on Talk Pittsburgh, we're wrapping things up with your bus stop forecast and what's coming up on Monday's show.
Home Glenwood native Florence Reed was a teacher in the Pittsburgh Public School District. At age 26, she experienced health issues that caused her to begin using a wheelchair. After noticing a lack of female representation in the advocacy spaces she was a part of, she co-founded Working Women with Disabilities, an organization aimed at providing employment and educational support to women with disabilities.
What a powerful woman. All right, well, Ron, it has been pretty rainy outside and a little chilly, so I'm hoping maybe there's a warm up in our future somewhere.
We're going to stay cold over the weekend. We like to look ahead now, oftentimes looking at what the kids can expect over the next morning or so. If you remember, a lot of folks are going to be on spring break next week. Here's the good news. Cold this weekend, but we do start to warm up as soon as Monday morning. Temperatures just into the mid-40s at that point. High temperatures at this point will start to tick up. 60s on Monday, 70s expected a number of days next week. Similar to yesterday, though, we have a couple more chances for some stormy conditions, maybe plenty of rain out there on any of these storm systems that are sliding through. So you're going to want to keep it here closely to KDK, and we'll get you through next week. But hey, if you're heading off, if you're enjoying spring break, have fantastic.
Yeah, well, Ron, I don't know if it's just me, but when I hear spring break, I think like young people, like I don't belong. But I want to do spring break too. I just don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah. I'm thinking old school. I'm good.
School?
I'm right there.
You're right there? Can we still participate? I don't know.
Yeah. We're going to the quad.
To the quad. Wherever that is.
Where's Blue? Okay, I'm sorry. My old movie references, no one out there gets it.
No, but it's all good. Thanks, Ron. Okay, the Ultimate Wing Showdown is heating up. Our 8th The Whole Plate bracket is live right now on our Facebook page. On the Talk Pittsburgh side, we've got Wings, Suds, and Spuds versus the Barn and Barrel, and Dale's Place versus Inferno Pizza. On the PTL side, there's a Bar 48, the Steel Plate, 12 Whiskey Barbecue, and EB Wings. Our thanks to Dishbird for jumping on board to sponsor this year's bracket challenge. All you need to do now is head to the Facebook page and cast your vote, and we'll reveal those on Monday. All right, on Monday on Talk Pittsburgh, Phipps Conservatory Spring Show opens tomorrow. Boaz will take you on a tour of the best blooms, adding a little brightness to your Monday.